Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we're playing Raid Shadow Legends, and I want to thank you guys for clicking on this video. In today's video, I want to talk about 5 things I wish I knew before I started Raid. I've been only playing Raid for a few months, and as you guys can see, I'm only 204 days in at this point. I know there's a lot of people who are playing Raid for a long time, and then you have new beginners. I was one of these new beginners a few months ago. As you can see, I'm only 204 days in. And one of the things which is number one on my list that I wish I knew before I jumped into this game was starting this game off with a promo code where you could get free champions. Cause I just heard about Raid and I was excited. I jumped in, I started a new account, and all my champions were just champions that I pulled from shards or champions that I got from playing campaign. One of the things you guys want to make sure you do, there's tons of promo codes online. You guys need to just do your research, see what good champions you can start with, and just start the game with a promo code. And that's going to help you guys out a ton. A ton. That's one of the things I wish I did. It's like starting off Raid with new champions. It's like a power boost to your account. You know, you literally just steamroll content. You know, it makes the game easier, especially for the early games. It really jumpstarts your account. So for me, it's been a rough start. A lot of things I learned over time. If I were to start a new Raid account, like a new free-to-play account right now, that's one of the things I would definitely do. Make sure to start the game off with a promo code with great champions that could give a great boost to your account. The second thing I want to talk about is knowing what to prioritize when building your champions. Because in the early game, you're just hit with a lot of champions. It's like you're pulling champions, you're getting champions from campaign, fusions. There's champions coming from left and right, right? One of the things you guys want to make sure is preparing for the late game. Firstly, you're building your starter champion, getting that champion to level 60, and potentially using that starter champion for your campaign farmer until you get a better champion that you could put in that spot, right? So what champions am I going to need for dungeons? What champions are you going to need for clan boss? And what champions are going to help you in the late game? You do not want to invest a lot in these early champions if they're not going to help your account. You know, you like Raid sucks you in and you start spending tons of resources into these champions, and these champions, they're only here to help you through certain parts, but are they going to be crucial to your account in the long run? So I mean, that's one of the things you want to focus on, right? Just make sure you're not just building out champions because you like them. You want to make sure every champion that you're going to put resources in is going to help you to progress, right? I kind of got caught up in this, and right now, if you look, let's go to my champions right here. As you can see, I have a bunch of 60s and a bunch of 50s, and this is one of the things you kind of do not want to do. You want to make sure if you're committing to a champion, you're taking them to level 60, and these champions are going to help to progress your account, right? I have a few of these champions, Silver Drakes, that I need to take up to 60, but you know, I'm making sure that the next 60 is going to be something that helps me out. It's going to be someone that helps me out. Like right now I'm trying to progress through Hydra, so the champions that I'm looking to 60 needs to be champions that's going to help me progress in Hydra. So pretty much I have clan boss down to where I can 2 key Ultra Nightmare and I can 1 key Nightmare, and that's good enough. Like eventually my champions are gonna get stronger. I'm gonna get better gear, and Clan Boss, Demon Lord Clan Boss is gonna be pretty easy, right? So right now, Hydra is my focus. Hydra is the champions that I'm building right now is going to be Hydra, and these are the things that you want to think about when you're building champions from the early game. Like focus on champions that's going to help you progress and help you in the long run, and not just you're not going to just build them and throw them by the wayside, and they're just going to be another 60 that's sitting in your vault. All right, guys. The third thing I want to talk about is understanding gears, gear rolls for artifacts and accessories, right? Throughout the early and mid game, farming is going to be a very essential part of gameplay. You're going to be spending tons of time in dungeons, playing events, just to get good gear. I'm still in a place where I'm looking for good gear, and I'm having to do a lot of gear cleanses to get rid of gears that I'm farming. Do your research. There's tons of videos on how to gear cleanse and what to look for when you're farming for gear, how to gear champions. So I would say just make sure when you're gearing your champions, you know exactly what role that champion is going to be playing, and you're basically farming for a purpose, not just mindlessly farming and saving up all the gears and saving flat stats and gauntlets and chest piece and boots. Like you want to make sure whatever you're using for these bottom three rows are mainly percentage based. Speed rolls on the boots. These are the things you're looking for. So just make sure you're not mindlessly upgrading to get through the early game into the mid game all the way up to level 16. It costs a lot. It costs a lot of silver. Silver is hard to come by. You know, like right now you could have 20 million silver, and that's just enough to get what 15, 16 pieces of gear till level 16. And that's really just a drop in the bucket, you know. So you guys just want to understand every role that your champion is playing and what gear do you need to make that champion powerful. What gear do you not need on your account, and you could sell that and get more silver to upgrade better gear. One of the things you also want to do is make sure when you're upgrading gear, you're kind of waiting for the perfect time. Like, just want to make sure you guys are upgrading gears whenever you can double dip and you can actually earn something from upgrading gears. You don't want to just upgrade your gear at any moment, you know. My fourth tip to you guys is do not waste resources. Yes, this game is very grindy and resources are hard to come by. Do not waste your books. Do not waste shards. You want to typically wait on events like CVC to go in and upgrade champions. You do not want to, let me move this over a little bit. You do not want to waste your books. Like right now I'm saving books. I do not have any mythical yet, so I'm not crazy about doing events for mythical books. Plus, you know, those events are kind of hard to achieve, especially with me being free to play for the most part. I would say I'm probably 75% free to play. So I want to make sure I keep my resources, you know. You want to keep your brews. You want to make sure you're using them at the right moment and not just leveling up champions with your brews. Like, typically what I do is when I'm farming food, I'll put a few brews into these level 1 champions, get them to level 2. And then once they're level 2, then I'll take them into campaign and I'll start farming them up. So when certain events come around, like champion training events, I have brews that can help me to speed through these events, right? Um, Resources such as shards. Like you want to save your shards. Like wait for monthly pulls because events they go and they come. Like the events are always around. So don't get caught up and be like, yeah, I need to pull for this event. No, I promise you that event will come back around, and you will have more shards to spend. Progressive chance events, yeah, sometimes I might take a risk and I'll pull a few shards, but I'm mainly waiting for a 2 times or more event. One of the things I didn't realize till it was probably midway through the game, Prism Shards events are very good if you want to get epic champions to empower your champion roster. Like epic champions are very good, and you want whenever those events come around and you can get Prism Shards, you really want to push for those and just try to get yourself as much the great epic champions that are going to be essential to your accounts, right? So don't waste your shards, guys. Do not waste your resources. Save them. This game, I've said it already. This game is a grindy game, and all these resources are so hard to come by. Like, and that leads into my fifth and final tip. Like, this game is a waiting game, guys. Don't think like even if you spend a ton in this game, you still have to grind gear. No matter what you do, you cannot escape it. It's a grindy game. It's like you benefit in the long run. Like I said, I'm only day 210, and I'm nowhere near as stacked as these other players that's been playing for 5 years. Like my champion roster is like I barely have legendaries. Like I have a few. I have a lot of epics that I need to power up, but it's a grindy game, guys. Like you're gonna have to put time. You're gonna have to put effort. You're gonna have to do your missions and your quests and your challenges on a daily basis just to get resources to make your account get to where you need it to be. So I would say don't think it's gonna happen overnight. You know, you just gotta play consistently. Do all your dungeons, do all your faction wars, so you can get forge material, so you can forge better gear. And it's like do your clan boss daily, do your doom tower at all resets, and once you get to you can do curse city. You want to make sure that you're doing these for free resources and free rewards. Like there's rewards everywhere in the game. You just have to be consistent, and you have to play consistently, guys. But yeah, those are my 5 tips. I hope you guys really learned something from this. As a mid-game player, partially free to play, I would say I do get the monthly raid card, and I also get the forge pass from time to time, uh, depending what gear they have. Right now, I'm not super keen on instant gear, so I probably won't get the forge pass for this month. But yeah, hope you guys learned something, and leave a comment. Let me know what level you are, how many days you've been playing, and are you enjoying this game so far, guys? Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.